Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alaracanfield show, the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And my good friend Irma Kaye Sawyer is back. It's been a while because you were supposed to come and then things happened and you didn't come on. So it's like, it's been a while. I think it's like a year and a half almost. Wow.
Wow, it's been that long?
Yeah.
Too long.
I know, right?
Too long. Yeah, all kinds of life stuff.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Just one second.
Glad to be back.
So today we're talking about cosmic weather and healing crystals. We're going to learn about the current and upcoming astrological weather and what it means for you. We're going to be talking about some Andara crystals. They are a next level healing and spiritual tool. I have 9, and then I bought from Irma from her store, the Bright Star Emporium. So we're going to talk a little bit about those as well. And so for those of you who don't know Irma, she is an author, a spiritual teacher, an intuitive counselor, an Akashic Records consultant, an energy healing practitioner. She's been in professional healing and consulting since a long time ago and holds certifications in Reiki, magnified healing, shamanic healing, intuitive counseling, and Akashic Record consulting. And so we love having Irma back with us because we have such a wonderful conversation. It's very light and it's very flowing. We're going to be taking live caller questions about the astrological weather, what's happening, and also about crystals. If you have questions about crystals, yes, definitely about Andaras or other crystals, ask your questions. So you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. All right, so Irma, welcome back to the show. So glad you're here.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Laura. Thank you so much. I've missed you. I've missed everyone.
I know, right? It's like time has gone by so fast, as we all know, and sometimes it just gets away from us. And thank you so much for all of your support and love and blessings that you've been sending to me and Robert. Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. I'm so glad things are going well.
Because I know things were not going that well for you at that time too. So
no, they weren't.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to ask me and send your support and love to us as well. So thank you.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're my soul fam. Got to take care of our soul fam, right?
Absolutely.
I know. So what I was thinking, whenever I think about our conversation, that I love this. This is why, yeah, I'll be on more because I love you and I love our conversations. It's so interesting how you open up the floor, the flow to spirit. Like, what am I talking about today on Laura's show? And I knew a little bit about what I was talking about. And I was thinking about, well, we've got some big aspects tomorrow. We've got Jupiter in Pisces. This is going to affect you, your sun is in Pisces. Yep. So, and anybody else with predominant Pisces planets. So I was really thinking about that. That's going to bring a shift. We can talk about that in a minute. But it's really interesting too, when you think about the conversation got larger. It got larger about in the collective and what we're going through. For example, I follow author Lisa Rankin, and she had a great post about post-traumatic growth. You hear a lot about post-traumatic, right? PTSD, right? Yeah. You don't hear a lot about post-traumatic growth. And I went, wow, that's pretty fantastic. We want to hear more about that, right? So what does that look like? That looks like having a greater sense of connection is one of the things. It's kind of like a palate cleanser, which of some of these retrogrades we're going to go through. We're going to be talking about dropping the extraneous, right? Because when we go through something like this, it always is about the important. It's about getting to the essence of what's really important in our lives. And that's what retrogrades do also. And we're going to talk about, we're going into eclipse season. So I thought with Jupiter and Pisces, because Jupiter expands, Pisces is very spiritual, right? Yeah. Pisces is rules the collective. And it's interesting because people can get all doomy about, well, it could really go either way, because Pisces, it does have a shadow. All signs have a shadow. It has a rose-colored glasses, right? Maybe not seeing everything that's there, which I find a little bit of that endearing, in a way, because it's like the opposite of cynicism, which is assuming everything is ick.
But it's more like being innocent and naive and gullible sometimes, right?
There's a gullible side to it for sure. I think that there's also a side that really, like a lot of empaths can do, a lot of starseeds and empaths and light workers, you're seeing the potential of people and environments and all of that. And of course, it's going to fall short sometimes because that's just, we're here on planet Earth, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking though, what came through, which I thought was really interesting, is that we're interested in healing. We're interested in healing the planet. We're interested in moving through these things that we're going through as a collective. So there's a way that you can, your own self-care, you can kind of offer it to the collective, because the Pisces is the collective. It's 12th house. It's all of us. Right. So I think that it's like one of those things where if you have trouble with self-care or finding time, it's like there's a bigger aspect to it. As you work on your own stuff and clear your own stuff, you're actually going to be helping other people that have that same issue. Right. But also we're bringing in more spiritual energy that's going to help everyone. Because another interesting thing is Pisces is affected. Neptune is related to pandemics. So there's astrology that's going on through this. But, on the other side, there's a lot of really bright things that we're looking at. We're looking at a lot of changes. Do some grounding. Yes, grounding. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of grounding. Absolutely. Grounding helps everyone. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, get your stones out. So what I wanted to share with you guys is we're coming on off of this beautiful new moon on Monday, which was in Taurus, right? Which is all about grounding. It's all about the earth plane. It's all about being the earth mama, being on planet Earth. And it's about our resources and what we own, our possessions. And on the upside, there's the upside and the downside, right? They say, don't let your possessions possess you. We can have too much stuff, right? So a great activity in a new moon cycle in Taurus is to do, like I was joking, I've got this big bag that's getting larger and larger that I'm going to donate to the thrift store, because if I'm not wearing it, using it, it's taking up space. This is a really good activity that everybody can participate in with the Taurus new moon, is really looking at what you own. And what does Marie Kondo say? If it doesn't spark joy, right? I love that. If it's sitting there collecting dust, clogging up your feng shui, and I'm no expert on feng shui, I do know a little bit about it, but we all know what it feels like when your space is lighter, when you have less things in your space. So that's where we started out this cycle with that, which I love. And we're going into, on May 26th, we have the super blood moon eclipse, right? And this is one of those things that, I really don't like the doomy posts and what I call the clickbait. It's like, people know my style. It's like, I'm very, I'm a Capricorn. I'm going to talk about what it really is. But, these are all potentials, right? All of these are potentials. There's no astrological aspect that's set in stone. We could talk about what they can potentially be, right? A full moon eclipse is intense, right? There's an intensity aspect. We can't really deny that. But what's interesting about Sag is about our personal philosophy and our beliefs. So you're going to see, by the time I give you this little bite-sized chunk, by the time we get done, I'm kind of building a little sandwich here for you. We started out with the new moon in Taurus. Then we go to the super blood moon. Okay, what are our beliefs? Full moons are about releasing, letting go, right? So we're going to think about, well, is this my philosophy? Does it help me? Does my personal philosophy expand my life? Does it make me happier and healthier? And if not, then maybe we can make some adjustments in there. I looked up there's something called Sabian symbols that were brought through. I've talked about these before, by an amazing intuitive named Elsie Wheeler, who's been gone for quite a while now, but she brought through a symbol for each degree of each sign. So there's 360 of them. Oh, wow. Which is incredible. And yes, she was Pisces. Of course she was. Anyway, amazing. So the Sabian symbol for the blood moon is an old owl sitting in a tree. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So we've got owl medicine. And what's beautiful in our nature preserve here, some of you might have seen it, my partner at Langford Arts, he's been photographing the baby owls that are now and the mama. And so we are been so immersed in this wonderful owl medicine. He's over there taking pictures all the time, and they're just so cute. But think about it, right? Owl medicine, it's depth, right? It's wisdom. It's seeing in the dark. I mean, that might be a good, people take a little research out and Google that as a totem, as an animal totem. So yeah, that's what I'm going to look at the comments later. You do look like an owl for me too. Thank you. I think that's a compliment.
I will take it as a compliment. Yes.
I'll take it as a compliment. So yes, owl, seeing in the dark, wisdom, right? Tapping into that ancient energy. Sagittarius, again, our personal philosophy, right? What do we, again, what are we believing? So that's what's going on. And then eclipses, we can feel the effects of eclipses for up to 6 months. By the time we get to the next eclipse, because they're usually 5-6 months apart, we have another one in the winter. So, but the good thing is we're going to come up from air from all of this. We're going to go we're going into
like
very
it's intense.
And it's deep and it's inward. It's deep and it's inward, right? Because I'm going to talk a little bit more about retrogrades, because retrogrades are always an invitation to go within and go deeper. So, but basically it's kind of like, well, are you going to be productive? What are you going to do when you're taking that focus and you're turning it in, right? What are you doing there? So when we go from the super blood moon eclipse with that wonderful owl energy, that wisdom, that I love that. That's like chef's kiss for that. I love that so much. So then we get on June 10th, we get the new moon in Gemini. Okay, with a solar eclipse, right? They always travel in pairs. We've got the lunar and the solar. What does the solar do? I always joke and say it lights fire under your butt. Well, it can, right? So that's it's kind of to get you moving, get it going, right?
Yeah.
Gemini, very intuitive, very creative. And we're also going to have that Mercury is going to be retrograde in Gemini. And I know people are like, oh, there's an ominous side to it, but there's also an upside. So I'll tell you both. Mercury, when it's in Gemini, when it's retrograde, it's pretty retrograde. I don't know how else to put it. Back up your stuff now. Okay, get all your ducks in a row, because it really does rule communication quite literally. It's the ruler of the sign. So when you have it in Virgo or Gemini, it's quite strong, right? But on the other hand, this is all about, right, again, it's about beliefs. It's about what's rolling around and what we're thinking. What are we talking about? What are we thinking about? Yeah. That's Mercury, right? And I know in your great show, Laura, you talked a lot about our thoughts and what we're thinking. We're speaking, we're speaking it into manifestation. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That your voice, of course, is very, very important. What you're saying, words, the magic of words, right? Spelling, using abracadabra, speaking it into reality. Okay. Absolutely. So as you can see, I really like this progression, right? How we're starting at, okay, what do I need to get rid of or clear in my space? We're going to start with our space with Taurus. Then we move into what are my beliefs? What's my philosophy? What do I need tweaking about that? Then by the time we get to the new moon, we're like, what am I speaking out? What am I putting out there? Again, it also has to do with beliefs as well. Gemini is very much about the detective. It's about what are all these possibilities? It's the opposite, right, of Sag, which can be dogmatic. Gemini's like, I want to look at all these viewpoints and see what fits for me, right? So it's more possibility, okay? Then by the time we get to the next full moon on June 24th, and I love that it's my dear friend Shannon Murray of Lunar Ladies' birthday. And for those of you who follow her, I have my own show called Live from the Cosmic Couch, and she's going to be on my show on her birthday. So if you're interested in her amazing wisdom, that's going to be a great show. Nice. But that's going to be a full moon in Capricorn, which is all about, again, manifestation on the physical plane, making it real. So see how cool this is? Isn't this fun and cool? I love it. I looked at those two pairs. I just looked at those two pairs, and that's what I was shown about him. And I thought, I really love that. So again, are we going to have frustrations in Mercury retrograde? You're dang right we are. That happens. It requires patience, right? It's inevitable. But at the same time, if you look at that as an opportunity to, like, how can I kind of tweak my belief system? How can I use the magic of this transit? And also how this plays into Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter rules spiritual teachers. It also, you're going to dig this, it rules entrepreneurs. It rules people like us. So what does that mean? I did not know that.
I thought it was just mainly about the spiritual, growth and expansion. Yeah.
I just learned that too, that it rules entrepreneurs. I love that. So again, Pisces, these are the two areas that people are going to really benefit. Service work, whatever that takes many forms, and also people doing spiritual work or healing work, which is of course the field that we're in.
Yeah.
So as far as dates, that's going to go in tomorrow on the 13th. It's going to only be in there. We're going to get a little taste of that energy. It's going to come back out on July 20th to ingress back into Aquarius. At the end of the year, right before New Year's, on December 29th, it goes back into Pisces. This is our wonderful New Year's present for people that have strong Pisces, like I do also. Mm-hmm. It'll go back in there, and it'll be there until May 20th of 22, which is a nice chunk of time. So what does that mean?
I need you to tell me every day what to do. It's like, all right, today, this is what's happening. This is what you should do. Today, this is what's happening. This is what you should do.
I don't know about every day. I would do that for you, Alara, though, but not for everybody.
maybe once a week. Okay, this week, this is what it looks like for you. So this is what you should focus on.
I love that. Well, I do. Yeah, I do forecast. I do the forecast of Patreon. And of course, some of the, we've got a lot of free material at Cosmic Weather, my page on Facebook, if people are interested in that. But I was thinking about this. This is another really powerful thing. Jupiter in Pisces is going to be about compassion for others, but really profoundly, it's going to be about compassion for the self, right?
You know what today when I was doing my new moon meditation and setting my intentions, one of my intentions was, believe it or not, having more compassion for everyone, including myself. Because, more patience, more compassion.
You do this all the time. Just like my IET instructor, Maria, does it all the time too. She doesn't really follow the astrology, and we have our weekly meetings that she'll be so dead on with whatever's we're talking about. Yeah. And, you do the same thing too. It cracks me up. It just shows it. See, this is very Piscean, which is to bring it in through osmosis. And you've heard me talk about this before. Yeah. It's not, like an academic thing. It just kind of floats on in. And there you go. You're already tapping into that. But this is a really interesting thing when you think about Jupiter being abundance, right? All manner of abundance, financial, health, all the good stuff, right? And we're in Taurus season again, which is about resources. It rules resources, right? So it's interesting. One of the barriers to abundance is judgment. Right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, judgment is a way of ourself and others, is a way to cut off the flow. I've experienced that. I have a Virgo stellium. I know. Let's raise our hand, right? We got that t-shirt in every color. And we've learned that doesn't work. That doesn't really work. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for other people. So what I thought was beautiful about this is we're getting some wonderful support. The universe is going, here's this great energy of Jupiter and Pisces, which is about compassion. This beautiful compassion, self-compassion, compassion for others. And maybe if that stuff comes up or that chattery mind gets in there and starts, finding fault with everything or whatever it does, but we can kind of go back to that moment and go and sit in that Piscean energy, that really wonderful, like the Buddha behind you on your tanka, that wonderful Buddha nature, the higher self, whatever you want to call it, whatever your belief system supports. So I love that. These are two things that are going to be traveling together. Our abundance, our ability to manifest and be abundant, and also compassion. And I think that those are things that not everybody thinks of in the same sentence. I know that I kind of always didn't put those together, but it's important. This is a way that the goodness will flow in all areas of our life, because not only is your heart clearer when you're practicing compassion and mindfulness, right? And which benefits your whole energy. Mm-hmm. But then that's just sending out this beautiful signal to the universe, like, thank you more. I thank you so much for this or something greater. And I know we've had some great talks about abundance in the past. Yep. We had a show on that. If anybody wants to check that out in the archive, that was a good one.
That was
a good one. And I might want to watch that again. That might be Are all those shows are in the archive? Is that right?
Well, I think those ones are all on YouTube, because I thought we were doing a video then, right? So yeah, they're all on video.
Yeah, they're on YouTube.
Yep.
All there. So how are we doing? Does anybody have a question so far?
Yes, I mean, you've just been going. So yeah, if anybody has a question about anything that Irma has talked about so far. There's a lot, so I know for myself, I'm not really big on the astrological cosmic weather stuff that's going on. I just, I generally know a little bit, but I don't go deep into it. But intuitively, I follow what's works for me, right? So
you do it all the time. It's pretty amazing.
Which, it happens to flow pretty well with what's going on.
Yes, question.
There's Joseph. Hello.
Yes, hello. About the eclipse, is this also visible here in Europe, or is this only in the States?
The eclipse coming up in the full moon, is that going to be visible in Europe or only in North America?
I don't know as far as visibility. I haven't looked into visibility yet. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. That part of it I haven't got there yet.
Sun eclipse or a moon eclipse?
There's both.
Yeah,
both.
At the end of May. At the end of May, it's a lunar eclipse, and in June, it's a solar eclipse.
The lunar eclipse is on May 26th. The solar eclipse is on June 10th. And as far as visibility, I'm sorry, I don't have that information, but space.com or some other, or the NASA site or sites like that would have that information.
It's usually cloudy here, Joseph, on that day.
So June, what was this? June, I forgot again.
June 10th.
June 10th for the solar and May 26th for the lunar.
Yeah.
26. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Oh, another thing. Okay, unless we have a question. Eclipse is the same in Europe. Yeah, it'll just, of course, you guys are on GMT. The timing is different, so that's something everybody can just look into in their. There's a lot of websites for that with that information. Okay. I just saw something else in my notes about Jupiter in Pisces, something that came through. We've heard that expression about your true north, right? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Your direction, your true north. These pairs of moons that I just talked about, starting on Monday, going all the way through the end of June. This is a purpose for us realigning with what's considered our true north, which is big.
Which is what I'm already like tapping into, looking into, like what is it that I really want to do? How do I really want to serve? So, my true north is about service,
Yes, absolutely. And see, we also have to talk about, we've got Pluto retrograde. My Pluto is in the south house of my career. My career is also going through a lot of deep changes. Pluto, and also is where you hold your power. So that's going on now. Pluto in Capricorn, which is the 10th house, that's it. Of course, yours is going to be different based on your own chart, but Pluto retrograde, again, for everyone, is bringing that energy on an inner level. And it's about power. Where are we leaking power? What gives us more power? And again, that ties into this true north, our direction and where we're going. So it's all really cool. There's some really cool stuff coming up. I really like it. But again, it's a deep dive because at one point we're going to have, if I can find my notes here, we're going to have several planets in retrograde all at the same time. Which is okay. I mean, we had that last year, right? We had like 6 planets in retrograde at once, we won't have that many. We're going to have, we'll have on June 20th, we're going to have Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto all retrograde. And those are biggies. So again, and as we come out of it, it'll be like one will go direct before the other one. Yeah. So really summer or winter for our folks watching this in the other hemisphere, we love you. So for summer for us, winter for you, it is going to be more natural, more introspective. It is, and a lot of people were telling me, even people that weren't astrologers, they were just getting intuitively that fall was kind of an up for, like, we're, re-landing, coming up from the depths back on the land. I've had several people tell me that, and that really resonates. So the astrology, and not to say that it just is going to get boring and flat, nothing's going to happen, but it's, that we never get that. But we have a period, excuse me, the lunar eclipse, the next lunar eclipse isn't until November 19th. And then the solar eclipse is December 4th. So we've got a period, to absorb in between those two things. And my doorbell ringing, I'm not going to get it.
I know. So I heard that. I was like, yeah, ding dong, he's there. All right. So with the intensities, with the eclipses, with just with the planets going retrograde and so on and so forth, all the intensities, what can we do with the crystals to assist us?
Great question. I'm going to show who I brought today. These are spoken for. They haven't been mailed yet, but I brought a scarlet shift today. I love the scarlets. This is a scarlet Andara. It matches my shirt. And then we've got a beautiful aqua. We love the aquas.
Yeah.
Look at her.
I really like that one. Yeah.
The aquas are beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
So what can we do with the crystals? There's so many things you can do with them, right? We can meditate with them. We can ground with them. We can put them in our environment. As far as, talking about intensity, well, now it's really interesting because we're still in a nice earth sign energy with Taurus. When we get into Gemini, Sun and Gemini later, things get really kind of upper chakra, right? We get into air, more into the air element. So it's really, I had a post of Cosmic Weather about the scientific aspects of earthing, of actually putting your feet on the ground, and that they've actually done studies about what it does to your physical and your energetic body, that it's how beneficial it is for you. I know here, I need to get out, and I have to make appointments to get out in nature. We're all spending so much more time with the technology, online, all of that. So I really think one of the ways, I'm being reminded of some great wisdom from one of my astrology teachers, that the way that we can get through a Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrogrades can cause burnout, no matter what sign they're in. When they're in air, even more so, because they're just like way up here, right? The energy is like buzz, buzz, buzz. So how do you do that? You get unplugged as often as you need to. You get out in nature as much as you can. Really, the air sign retrogrades can be really kind of, they can be disorienting. And what they can do too is you can go on mental overwhelm, because Mercury is mental. So I think a good antidote is just, hang out, just like out with your crystals, right? Turn it all off, right? Just sit there with our beautiful, these gifts from the earth for us. They're very grounding, but not only that, it really helps with the chatter. There's too much chatter that goes on. And I think another thing to talk about with sensitivity, we can look at that in a minute with the question. Oh my goodness.
It's more of a statement.
Oh, okay.
Feedback.
Okay, I'll go back and look at that. So the thing about Jupiter and Pisces, again, we're going to be sensitive to collective energy. People that are empathic, light workers, were already sensitive to collective energy. I had a post on my own wall today about energetic hygiene. Very, very important. Crystals play a very important role in that. For me personally, and for a lot of people I know that are crystal folks at my store at Bright Star Emporium. Yeah, go ahead.
Heard several people mention that they are collective empaths. Right? And it's like, okay, what does that mean? We're all collective empaths, are we not? But they just feel more strongly, or they are processing energies for the collective.
That's a good question, and I'm glad somebody asked that. Actually, you can not, I wouldn't say everybody that's an empath is a collective empath. Probably not everybody. I would say a great percentage of empaths are. And as you know, if anybody's new to my work, I wrote a couple books on this, and I've done a little bit of research on this.
Yeah.
I'm an empath myself. I had a deal, I know I've said this story a few times, but I worked with guidance, my own guidance team, where I was processing collective energy to the point where it was making me ill. Alara knows about this. It's important to remember that your gifts are exactly that. They're gifts. They're not meant to be impediments. They're not meant to hurt you or make your life be a bummer or overwhelming in any of those ways. There's a lot of great tools out there. Maybe I could, I do have my book. I have a PDF. I also, the meditation that I shared, that everybody's going to get for free as a gift. This is my grounding and centering meditation. It's a very popular meditation that I did. That really helps people get unhooked from the collective, right? And there's so much collective stuff going on. My goodness, it's off the chain, right? And I think so. To answer your question, I would say that the great majority of empaths do work with collective energy, but you need to remember that it's not your job. You don't have to process collective pain. That's not what you're here to do. And in fact, the clearer and higher your own vibration is, and the more you're in your own lane, again, what I call energetic hygiene, this is how you lift us all up. That's how you
Exactly.
lift everyone up.
I
So,
totally
but
agree.
there's stages of development with empathy. I think a lot of us have been there. I went through, we go through the unconscious phase where you're like, I have a headache. I don't feel
Yeah.
good. What's going on? And then like, ugh, why do I get around this group of people? I feel awful. Or why do I go to
Exactly.
this place and I feel terrible going there? And then you start kind of,
I
putting the
know, right?
dots
I mean,
together.
it doesn't bother me anymore, but yeah, I used to experience all that, and it's like, oh my God. And then it's like, it's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
That's right. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, like you said, it's conscious intention and just your will. And for people that are in tune with their own guidance, and if you're not, there's all kinds of tools. This is one thing I do in my coaching practice with, fellow empaths and light workers, is helping people get more aligned with their own guidance. Because again, you don't have to be victimized by it. It's a gift for humanity and for you. But again, it's like anything. If it's in the wrong, if you don't know how to master it, it can be really difficult, and it can be really, really overwhelming. And for me, I literally had to have physical issues before I woke up and went, wow, is this mine? Or I think that's kind of a good question to ask, to
And
start
that's the
there.
thing. I mean, like I was thinking about this earlier today. I guess it must have been in preparation for this call. But I remember when I first started on my journey, years ago, there were times when, I thought I'm dying. I am physically dying, and it's like, this is happening and that is happening. And it's like, what the heck? And other times like, okay, I'm definitely crazy. I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I'm definitely crazy. So whenever you have those types of things, like I'm definitely dying, I'm definitely crazy, you're probably not. Of course, go get yourself checked, all that wonderful stuff, but you're probably not. But those are all like, what I'm getting right now is like, they are Kundalini awakenings, but it's more than that. It's like not tests per se, but they're like little rituals or little
Initiation.
initiations that you go through, right? And we all go through them at some point, and eventually, as you continue to do your practice, as you continue to raise your vibration, do the energetic hygiene maintenance all the time, you get better. So now I can go anywhere, I have no problem, right? But I couldn't go to the store, I couldn't go to the grocery shopping, I couldn't go to a concert, I couldn't, I had to, I was on the verge of getting my mom to take my kids because I was like, I'm dying, it's like, I don't know what's going on, and I talked about this yesterday actually, and it's like, and then the next day, like totally fine, like night and day, it's like, okay, so it's like, it happens, right? It happens. It's
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even with somebody like, I've been using the tools and the techniques for many years. To be honest, I've had a lot of loss. I've lost a lot of loved ones last year. Alara knows I went through a period of some pretty deep grief. I'm still processing that. And, I took care of myself. I mean, there were times where, I couldn't do social media to the level that I do now. I have a lot of pages. I have a lot of engagement with, with a lot of my stuff. And I just would put away notices. And, people for the most part were very cool and very understanding, which is great. I have a wonderful community that I really appreciate. But that's what you have to do. You really need to practice the self-care,
and especially the self-honoring. I don't like that word anymore, self-care, because I don't think people get it. It really is about honoring yourself, what you require,
Yes.
So it's like, what do you need right now? And so there, like I already said, like in this series, I'm not doing as many shows as I normally do because it's like, I just can't, I just have too much going on with, with Robert and everything, so it's like, I can't. So it's like, that's honoring me. That's looking at me and what I need and what I require and what I can do and what I'm choosing not to, right? So
you're right about self-care, about that word. I think people think of bubble baths and
I know, right?
And stuff like that. And I think honoring, I love that word. And I also love how we talked about self-compassion because, you're showing compassion for yourself. I was showing compassion for myself. Like, hey, I can't be engaged at that level right now. I don't have, there's a term, they call it spoons. You only have so many spoons, right? If your spoons are low, it's an expression that people, well, it can be used for people that are dealing with disabilities, but it also can be used for people that are dealing with anything, whether it be an emotional challenge. So people have heard me say, I don't have the spoons for it right now. Or, well, it's kind of based on the fact that maybe you have so many spoons in a day. And if you are down some because of incident, you don't feel well, whatever it is. It's like what you just said. I'm not doing that many shows. That's great. You know, that's too much for you. And your shows are, you know, filled with so much quality and so much great information. So, you know, you're still serving in that way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're just changing it. And again, this is a wonderful retrograde, Jupiter, all of these things. This is a great activity because you're tweaking it a little bit. You're going, how can I kind of tweak this and where it feels more comfortable for me, right? And I love that. I think that's a great example.
Exactly.
Of that.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, please look at your life and what you require. This is about honoring you, right? Honoring you and what you require. You're number one. Of course, we have kids, you know, that's a different story. I always say, but even with kids, I'm number one, they're number two, and then everybody else is after that. But yes, you know, Kat says her child is dealing with this right now of the being really super sensitive, not able to go to stores and things like that, you know, like, you know, but it's like, show your child, teach your child some of the techniques, the grounding, the clearing, the maintaining your energy field. They may not understand it, but, you know, tell them, you know, to put a protective bubble around yourself.
That's what, just it with all else fails, you know, do the white light, do the white bubble. I mean, if that's all you got, you know, and if people that aren't visual, just intend that you've got the bubble of light, that the only energy that's going to reach you is high loving energy.
Yeah.
Right. I remember, you know, I've shared about this before too, where I was going to the hospital a lot when I had a family member in the hospital, and hospitals for empaths, you guys know, not a great place. And then also being exhausted. And again, no spoons, one little spoon out of a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to the hospital and it was not working out. And I remember some people have heard the story, but I talked to this Rinpoche, this Lama, it's a very high Lama that I know. And he said, and I said, well, what should I pray for? And he said, you pray for the consciousness to be impervious to illusion, which is very, very powerful. But again, until we all are in and out of that awareness. And if you're not sitting in that awareness all the time, you don't need to beat yourself up about it. When you're going to an environment with a lot of sick people, a lot of ill people or dying people, and you're an empath, that's a reality. That's happening on 3D. So there's sometimes you can't just will yourself out of it. You have to ask for what I call reinforcements. We love Archangel Michael. He's here for us. Your own personal team, if you're aware enough to, but even if you don't know that, the archangels are wonderful energies to work with. Another thing you can do, anybody that does Reiki or energy work, you can send the energy out before you. This is a wonderful technique I learned. Or ask spirit, please precede me, please go before me wherever I'm going. So see, there are these little things you can do. And I think the challenge is when we get really beat down or exhausted, we have a tendency to forget.
Of course.
Or, you know, that you don't,
too, you know,
I mean, like me with all my apothecary in here, that's the joke too. I'm an essence maker. I have like a whole, you know, office filled of amazing thing. And when I get to a place, I feel like, you know, somebody will remind me and go, well, did you take your elixir? Well, no, I didn't.
No, of course not.
You just, duh. You just need the reminder. So that's where the community comes in, you know.
You know, when I was going to the hospital every week to see Robert, you know, I would come back from the hospital and I'd be like drained beyond belief. You know, I would be like so exhausted, and it's because of the energy in the place, right? It was
and also it's both, right? It was the same thing with me. I had a loved one in the hospital. I was very concerned about her. It was my mother at the time. And then you've got that. So it's like you've got both things.
Yeah.
So if you're visiting someone in the hospital, that's not really like usually a loved one. There's a lot of stress associated with that. So it's both.
And do you think I remember to say shields up? You know, that's it. As like if all else fails, Star Trek, shields up, right?
Shields up.
But do you think I remember that when I was at the hospital? No. You know, every week I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do anything, you know, kind of thing, you know.
And that's when we do that's when we do the salt baths. That's when we get out our crystal friends. That's when we maybe book a session with a friend or a practitioner. I know that I've gotten a lot of really good work done. What does Diane say? She's an empath and worked as a nurse.
35 years.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you
Joseph
for your service, Diane. What was that?
Joseph's showing his cat.
Oh, hi, kitty. Oh, that's a cute kitty. A little black and white.
Very cute.
That's a pretty cute cat. Do we have any questions so far?
So I'm like sweating. I don't know what's going on with the energy. I'm like sweating. Pat had said that
It's
she has,
these maybe.
she has, well, and all my crystals, all my Andaras are right here, right up, right below my
That
hand. Where my
that
hand
might
is,
be
right?
part of it. That's probably part of it. Just venturing a guess.
I know, right? So Pat said, I have Mercury retro in my birth chart, not afraid of the aspects, just flow with life. And that's a great philosophy, attitude.
It is.
Flow with life the best you
Yes.
can, right? But
Yes.
sometimes it's not always that easy, right? So
I have Andaras. She's saying she has an Andara. How do I use
it?
That's a good question. We could get into that a little bit.
So yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about just really quickly. So I started when I first started with the Andaras that I got from you. I started with this one first, right? It's an elder.
It's an elder.
I use this one mostly for healing and grounding, like healing and going into Mother Earth and connecting to Mother Earth. And then this one I use for grounding. But what I found that when I use my Andaras, it's like the energy transmission, the process is like way stronger. You know, it's really, 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 really strong. more so than normal, right? So I mean, normally I'm pretty good, but you know, more so. And then of course I have another one that I use for healing. It's another little pale.
You have all these beauties. I haven't seen these in a while. It makes me so happy to see these.
I know, and I love this one. It's my purple violet one, which I, you know, again, I just
so rare, very rare.
I love them all. And then this golden one. Oh, I remember there was a champagne one that I really wanted, which I didn't get, but I love this one anyways too. So it's all good.
I love gold. Gold is beautiful energy.
But that's what I find. I find when I use my Andaras for healing, connecting, grounding, all the processes that I do for my groups and so on, the processes are like really super strong, super strong. So that's how I use them when I'm doing healing work with my group, right?
Can I ask you a question on that, Alara?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you found that you tap into different guidance, or do you know, like, because some people's, you know, they actually have names like the crystal skulls have an identity and a personality. Have you found that with some of yours, with all yours? I'm just curious, but is it kind of a group consciousness that you feel, or I'm just wondering how you perceive them when you work with them?
Good question. I just find that when I'm using these Andaras, everything I do is stronger. So I'm always channeling energies when I'm doing work, right? When I'm doing healing work, I'm always channeling energies. But when I work with the Andaras, it's like I'm channeling more, here's the answer. I'm channeling more of the elementals, right?
Yes.
More of the elementals, more of the dragons, more of even the fairies, and they're talking to me as I'm looking at them, and more of like Mother Earth. When I'm using
perfect answer, wonderful answer. That's exactly it. They are very much connected to elemental energy, and I talk about that. I have a little ebook on that, but like the red, of course, is more associated with like the fire element, and then of course the blues, like this one, are the mer people, the dolphins. And she asked about the crystal skulls. I also work a lot with crystal skulls. I think we did that. Yeah, we have another episode that we did on that. I have a whole interesting journey with with crystal skulls.
I have a lot, actually. They're all everywhere, but
I have a lot too.
Not exactly the same though as the Andaras. They're different. I find they're different. The crystal skulls for me are more galactic energies.
Yes, I would agree. And mine have, it's really interesting because with the Andaras, the large ones, like with Lady Scion here. I love this piece. She's so beautiful. And this is considered a Scion because it's the Scion blue, but this actually is an antique piece. I did buy it from somebody that knew Lady Nellie, so this piece is really special. And so they just called her Lady Scion, so I just kept the name.
Yeah.
So my individual ones, the small ones, I don't necessarily name them, but like my skulls very much have a personality. They have a purpose. If anybody's interested in that, I know I did a show with both. I did a show with Shannon and also Alara on crystal skulls. They're on my channel. There's one on Alara's channel. We get into some pretty wild stuff, but the skulls picked me in 2017. And I've been on a pretty interesting journey with them, and the Andaras and the skulls actually. And it makes sense. You know, my nickname is the Crystal Mom. That's one of my nicknames. And part of my mission is to get these tools to healers. Because again, I've said they're next level tools. They absolutely are. People are doing such wonderful work with both the skulls and the Andaras. It makes me really proud, like a Crystal Mom.
Yeah,
So do we have
I really like them. I think they're more powerful. I wanted to ask, like, also, like, I use them for channeling and healing. But how else can we use Andaras? Like, what other way can we use Andaras? Can you use them for manifestation? Can you use them for balancing your energy field?
Yes, both. Absolutely, you can. People use them if you have the rare, gift of having a chakra set, of having the 7 different colors. You can do that, which is amazing to do. But because some people actually would do that crystal layout with clients or on themselves. It's interesting because some people like having them in their room when they sleep. And some people, it's too much energy. I've kind of had to go, when I first got them, the story is I had something like 5 pounds at one time. And yeah, try sleeping with 5 pounds of Andaras in your room and you're sensitive. That's good luck with that. So now I do have one Andara. I have them kind of strategically placed, but there are people that have told me that they work with them, that shamanic people that do work with dreamtime energy, whether waking or sleeping. So I find that is a tool that, again, we're working with earth energy, right? In the shamanic terms, you're doing upper, middle, and lower world. Thank you. You rock too, Sherry. Thanks for hanging out today. So for manifestation, I think it would be, like any other crystal, because this is a good question, because people ask me, can you program them like crystals? And this is an important question. These have a different energy and a different vibration, right? They're monatomic. They kind of work on a different energy matrix than crystals. And again, we love all the crystals, right? I love all of them. It's just about the purpose. So I would say, because you're dealing with such a concentrated piece of consciousness, because that's really what you're dealing with any crystal, but with an Andara, you're dealing with something that really, again, it's next level. It's really a high intelligence that goes into this. Not only that, and like, for example, Alara was talking about how she was attuned to the Fae kingdom, the fairy kingdom, to the earth elementals. You might find there are people that work with these, like you said, skulls for you are more galactic. I've worked with people that it's the opposite. I've worked with people that skulls are very much shamanic, more on the earth element, and these are more, Andaras are more galactic. So it really has a lot to do with your own energy structure, again, your own astrology. There's a lot of factors in play. Right. But again, I would just, really, it's like any other crystal. You make it your own, you invite it into your family, like you would when you bring any crystal home, especially like a crystal skull. You bring it actually into your environment and make it part of your family. And then I think you could do some more intimate, detailed work with it. But I would pretty much start there, and also let them speak to you, right? Because as you know, they're chatty. I mean, they're pretty chatty. I have people that have told me, or they'll see it in group, like they pick their people, just like crystal skulls pick their people. People will go, oh, that's the one. And the universe always, sets it up to where, like, this is a good example. On my last sale, I had some, and we have lovely people in my group, and I'm so grateful. I had a feeling it was supposed to be for this one person, and she didn't get it. She didn't claim it in time. And I asked the person that already had a couple other ones, I said, do you think it'd be possible for you to allow this other person to have it? And she was like, oh yeah, I don't really feel like this is mine. I'm so happy to release this to this other person. And, I don't tell people this, but when people do wonderful acts like that, we like to give a lot of bonus gifts and stuff for my group and reward wonderful behavior like that. But that's a really good example, because the woman, the customer went, that one was mine. I saw it in a dream. She goes, I saw it in a dream. I've really connected with it. And see, I love how effortless that was. It wasn't like the person going, oh no. She's like, oh, well, of course, this is for this person. So that's a good example of the intelligence that's going on with these. I see that. I mean, they're continuing to blow my mind every time I have them. We didn't have them at all in 2020. And that was interesting because I was going through a lot of stuff. I had an injury that I was working through in 2020. I just kind of wasn't in the right place. And I knew that when it was time that they would make their way back to me again. We're very blessed that we have a connection, you know, with the guardian at the property. And, you know, it's all very kind of capricious or whatever. Like when it's supposed to happen, it does. So that happened this year. They came back around again.
That's funny. You know, I just realized I have one more, you know, Andara, but it's in the other room. And there were two. I gave one to my daughter for her birthday last year. And then when she was visiting, she saw me with the gold one pendant, you know, and she's like, oh, Mom, can I have this one? I was like, okay. So she took that one. Then I ordered another one, like a pink one, but it's like, so I have 10 and she has 2 that, you know, she took one and I gave her one for her birthday or Christmas or something. I forget. I think it must have been.
That was very generous of you. That's sweet. I love how when people, they do that a lot with those. They really seem to have, well, I mean, because crystals in general are like that, because when one is for us, we, you know, whether it be in the metaphysical store or whatever it is, we know it. But with these, there's just such a recognition with these that it's really pretty mind blowing, like more than any crystal item I think that I've ever offered, you know, and I've been a crystal retailer for many years. So yeah, these things they're pretty amazing. And
yeah, so now you've got me hooked into like, okay, when is the next sale?
Actually, it's
coming up.
The next Andara sale is in July because we don't, I'll answer that in a minute.
Yeah.
We don't ship during Andara's during Mercury retrograde because we're smart.
Yes, exactly. I remember stuff had happened last time. Yeah, I remember.
You don't want these lost floating around out there. These are precious beings. You want them to get to where they're supposed to be going. So we sell other items in Mercury retrograde, but I don't sell, I will sell crystal skulls, but again, really kind of high-end items, really rare items. I tend to not ship those in Mercury retrograde. Someone asked about pink Andara. Pink Andara, of course, it would like the representative of the chakra. It is a heart chakra Andara. It's also very much related to feminine energy. We found, I have some people that have pink ones that work with Kuan Yin, that work with Divine Mother energy. I love
that's the one I have. Like it's a light pink Andara in a pendant, you know?
Yeah. I love the pink. It's funny. It's like all of those. I never really was a pink person. I didn't dislike it, but I just wasn't, or yellow. It's funny. I wasn't really into pink or yellow. Pink and yellow Andaras are amazing. There's both of those colors are very sublime and very rare. So they've kind of got me. I've changed my whole, I pretty much love all the colors now. I just think they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
You have a clear one too.
Yeah. And it's the energy of it too, right? And Jen, if you're asking about a pink Andara, is it calling you, right? Is that something that your energy field requires, right? And, you know, tapping into the divine feminine, tapping into Kuan Yin, tapping into, you know, love, self-love, you know, why not, right? It totally
beautiful. That's beautiful. All the colors are great. Like I said, they do different purposes, just like your crystals would, you know, like I wear like my Andara pendant, I wear an elder, I wear a shaman brown elder, just, you know, helps me with all the energy I'm moving. And I am an earth sign, you know, but that really does. When I saw that one, I was like, that's the one I want to wear around my neck. So I think it's like anything, what you attract. And then of course you're going to change things. Sometimes you're going to switch it up, you know, that we know about wearing crystals. There's times that you want that for a specific purpose, right? Whether I remember I was going through a challenge and I wore a lot of rose quartz. I really, my heart needed a lot of love. I was wearing that, you know, working with that energy a lot. And then it was time where, you know, I was attracted to blue again. I was attracted to lapis, which, you know, has another purpose. So I think
lapis too.
I do too. Lapis is a big one for me. So yeah, I just think it's like anything. It what's great about it is it helps it's like a two-way street because it helps your intuition. And then, you know, it's like you use your intuition and it helps develop it further, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Right. Yeah. So the more you work with it, what is she saying? She has 14 colors. The pink is
one of her favorites.
What does Linda say? I'm a fire sign.
I'm a fire sign. What would you suggest? I prefer sodalite, I think you mean, not solidite, but sodalite, which doesn't make sense for a fire sign, but okay.
Yeah, it does.
See, I know nothing about fire signs.
With her it does.
I'm
With
water.
her it does.
I'm water. I'm
Well, you know what? This is interesting. I have a fire moon. I have an Aries moon, and I have a lot of Sagittarius. People with fire can have issues with inflammation in their body, which I've had. According to Vedic medicine, there's Rajasic, Tamasic. I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Yeah, it's not thick. So when you're Rajasic, right, you have fire. You have a lot of fire.
Yeah.
So with me, this is one of the reasons why I'm attracted to the grounding colors. I wear a brown color, you know, it's kind of, you know, grounding that out. So sometimes people with a lot of high fire, they're not attracted to the reds or the orange, you know, because they're already rocking so much of that energy. So kind of the balancer for that a lot of times will be a sodalite, or will be an aquamarine, or a blue topaz, or something along those lines. So if you're attracted to that, I would say right on. I think you're listening, and that's helping to balance that, because with me, I know that I have to watch that. You can manifest as, indigestion, or things, you know, inflammation in the body. There's, you know, we've all got our challenges when we're in this vehicle, right? So that's another way that we can work with these on a health aspect. You can actually work to balance your own energy. Or on the other hand, say you need more fire. Say you really need that, you know, get up and you want some motivation. Maybe you're lacking motivation. Well, then you would go for a stone this color. You would go for something that's going to enliven your energy. So you see, it's like a wonderful palette we can work with these. It's really fun.
Yeah, beautiful. And you know, one of the things that I had an aha about in the past couple of weeks is that when I was younger, I hated the color green. I was like, oh, I hate the color green. It's so ugly. And you know, looking at like clothing, Indian clothes, all of that's like, oh, I hate the color green. Now, you know, as I walk every day with Leo, I was like, it's so beautiful. The green in nature is so beautiful. I'm just so in love with all the different shades of green here. You know, it's like, oh my God, I love it.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when I was studying essential oils, and you know how there are those scents that you would go, oh, that's like the most amazing thing. And then you'd be like, oh, I never want to smell that again. And then I remember my teacher was like, you should look up what that is, what you have an aversion to, and see what's in it. And it would be like, oh, I really need that medicine.
Yeah.
That's in that, you know? So, I mean, I think that and then on the other hand, we just have our likes and dislikes, and maybe sometimes we don't like something. But in the case of essential oils, that was really accurate for me. And then, you know what, over time, that same scent, I grew, not that it was my favorite, but I didn't have that aversion. I just went, that's okay. It's not my favorite, but I thought that was kind of interesting, right?
And you know, like we change, and we, you know, we adapt, you know, we require different things. So, you know, like I wear white now all the time, you know, but in the past I used to always wear blue, right? Bluish purple, you know, kind of thing, but mostly blue. So it's always about communication, speaking my truth. And that's when I was learning how to speak my truth, right? For a long time. Now it's like, yeah, I'm good with that. You know, so now I can just be, you know, but, you know, that's why it's like, yeah, I have a blue Andara as well, right? Which I really think is so cute and pretty. I love it. But the thing is like, it doesn't call me as much anymore as the green ones.
Interesting.
You know? So the green ones are calling me much more than the blue ones were in the past. It would have been the blue or purple.
You have such an amazing collection. It's so nice to see them again. I forgot all what you had. I love all.
I know, right? And it's like, it's so much fun. But you're right, the energy is so like, I don't know if you can tell, my face is like flushed and like sweating. It's like the energy is coming off of these crystals.
It's warm over here now too. I think it's like
intense. You know,
it's kind of sweating over here a little bit. So I wanted to ask you, so we could talk a little bit about people that are new to Andara's, the elders, which Alara you have a couple of the elders. Elders have a different energy, and everybody's getting warm. Oh, getting warm over here. So, right, those have, I have an elder that his name is grandfather. I have one that, they carry like that type of an energy, right? And again, they're not for everybody. I find that people that are attracted to elder Andaras are people that are grid workers, that are really holding space in their particular area. I have people that are actually building grids on the land with them, which is like, these things are, talk about getting warm. I'm getting warmer just thinking about that. I have a couple of people in Northern California that are doing some amazing environmental healing with Andara. So going back to what you can do with them, grids are amazing. Crystal grids are fantastic for anybody that is attracted to that. Just a little side note, if you want to learn about that and see some grids, there's a group called Crystal Grid Makers on Facebook. And there's some unbelievable master, Sixtina Friedrich.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. It's like, how do they do that? It's like,
these grids will blow your mind. Not only are they just so beautiful to look at, but they have a specific purpose. And just looking at the photo, of course, you're going to be participating in the energy. But if you want to learn about how to build your own, I kind of just intuitively had a knack for it. And once I started doing it, and then of course I joined these groups and started looking at other ones, and that kind of helped me, because it's an artistic endeavor, it's a creative endeavor, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at it like, say I was a painter or anything else, I'm going to look at some other work for inspiration. But there are some grids in there that are like beyond anything. They could be in a museum. Don't you think? They're unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they have a really specific purpose. And also, not to mention the collections of crystals that these people have, because they'll be every color. They'll be like the pink one and a blue one and a clear one, and they'll have like 20 to 40 40 or 50 pieces in them. So I recommend that for anybody that it's just fun, and also if you want to learn about it. What did Linda say? She has a pyramid and a grid.
A small pyramid and a grid on that. Good.
Yeah, grids are fun.
I can't find I'm sure I'm still missing some crystals. They must still be in storage somewhere, because where are my pyramids? There's just like so many crystals.
I know.
Like, I don't even know.
I can't find all my stuff either. So that's a good thing. I would say, how to work with them more is, you can make grids out of them. You can, do environmental work with them. You can do anything that, say an ordinary crystal could do. But I would say maybe just listen more to what you're being drawn to, because each one does have a certain, consciousness and a message. Again, if you're not hearing them, that's okay, because people kind of relate to them in different ways. For some people, again, they're extremely chatty, just like the crystal skulls are very chatty. Some people get very distinct, like, oh, I want to do this. I want to beat this part in the house. I want to, and I tend to receive information when I go into meditation and I connect with them. I have a couple of skulls that are master skulls that do really powerful work, and they have different purposes. And then I have other skulls that just are cool and they're just fun, and they just they bring their own energy. But I have a couple that are large skulls that help to program the other skulls that I bring in the house. And everything that leaves the Bright Star house is activated. We clear and activate every crystal that we sell. So that's one thing that people really like about our store, is we do that.
Absolutely. And the thing is, with crystals, it's like, it's not about trying to find the right one. It's like, when you see one, it's like you'll get a hit. It's like, oh yeah, I that's the one I want. It's just an intuitive knowing, or that the crystal is calling to you. And so it's just about trusting the information that you get. So like when Irma was selling the Andaras last year or the year before, whenever it was that I got these, like I didn't like all of them, like not all of them called to me, but some did say, oh yeah, I want that one. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I want that one. Right. So it's like, whatever sparks your interest, just go with that. You don't have to know why, what's it good for? What will it do for me? Why do I need it? No, stop, get out of your head and just follow your heart.
What's a great example of, perfect. What a great example of that is I usually have some items for new moon and full moon. And so for the Taurus, I had wonderful earthing crystals. We had pyrite and we had bronzite, and I had a bronzite skull in the store. And I had somebody jump right on it and go, oh, I have to have that. And it was a great skull. It was a really beautiful skull. And she goes, oh, I went and read after I bought it. And then I found out, and I can't believe it. I've got, we got the goosebumps all over the place. So we see, that's why I think your advice is great, because when it kind of validates the hit you're getting.
Yeah.
Because she didn't go look it up first. She went, oh, that's the one. And then she went and looked it up. And I see that so much. It always makes me smile.
Yeah.
They come back and they go, this is exactly the medicine that I need right now in my life.
Yeah.
And, and again, so when we activate them on the new and full moons. So, they're getting the maximum potential. That's another thing I love about it is, not to diss other people's stores, but, you kind of get what you pay for. And, being a metaphysician, I'm not going to just take it and put it in a box. Each one of these items has been, I guess the word is curated pretty carefully. And people appreciate that. Yeah, they do pick you. Yeah. They definitely pick you. But I think that another thing too is when that's an important thing to think about, not just from my store, but any store you go to, is think about, how many people are actually like picking up the item. It's always important to clear something that you purchase that's from a public store. I mean, I know that's probably obvious, but yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that's good about us is you're not getting an item that a whole bunch of people have handled. You're getting an item that literally under 5 people have handled probably. Mm-hmm. So, that makes a difference too.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I definitely have lots of crystals all over the place and I love them. I use them daily, and they some people may not understand, like, well, what do they do? Why do you have so many rocks? And it's like, you know what? It's pretty, but it's not just pretty. It's like, I feel good when it's in my hand and it's not.
Oh, I love that piece. That's beautiful.
I got this in Mount Shasta, and it's like, it's my angel.
Oh, look. We have this one for sale. Look at that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I know. Look at that. Don't we love these? That reminded me of that. That's why I had to show you that.
That's beautiful. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, no, this is, it's my angel one. I mean, I just fell in love with it right away. As soon as I saw it, it's like, oh, I have to have that. That's the one I want. So just follow your heart, follow your knowing, see what calls out to you, and just get it. And then, play with it. It doesn't have
everybody
to be.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna, don't think about it too much. Just hold it and talk to it. Just feel the energy. I'm a feeler, so I feel the energy, and just. I slept with this one a lot as well, I don't sleep with crystals anymore, but I used to before. So
yeah, I know, me too. I haven't by my head though. I have kind of strategic placements. Before we talk about some of the goodies that we're offering, does anybody have any questions before we talk about a couple other things here?
Linda says she's continually drawn to malachite. I love malachite too.
Malachite's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Good choice.
So definitely, work with it, right? So for me, when I think about malachite, it's a healing stone, and it's for your heart chakra, but it's also grounding stone connecting you to the earth, but that's what I get. But I also get that it's also very galactic as well. So it's like,
it's very ancient. Yeah. Malachite has a very ancient vibration and flavor to it.
So it's just follow your knowing too.
It's I think malachite is a very multidimensional stone. I mean, I think they all have potential to be that, but there's something about malachite, I don't know. There's an Egypt connection. There's a galactic connection. There's a lot going on with malachite, there is.
What I'm getting right now really quickly, it's also like connected to Lemuria is really strongly is what I'm getting. So, but who cares? If it feels good to you, get it, that's
and
it.
I think it has a lot to do, like I said, it has a lot to do with medicine, because I find that, for example, people that have strong water, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer people, like with the Andaras, are very attracted to the blue color. They're very attracted to the water element, and it's not always the case, but I mean, this is another way you can find out a little bit more, go on a journey of self-discovery about you, which is what I love about the Andaras, because that's what it's about. It's about healing you first, right? And that goes back to us, and right, self-compassion, all of that stuff. Another thing that's interesting is it's in my ebook that I wrote on the Andaras, but when I first I'll look at her question in a minute. When I first connected to them, it was new moon in Pisces, and there's very much a Piscean Lemurian connection with the Andaras. There very much is. And so I think it's really interesting now that we have Jupiter going into Pisces, which again, it's its home sign. So it feels very comfortable there because Jupiter's the co-ruler of Pisces along with Neptune. So it's interesting how they kind of show up exactly when they're supposed to. And I think that something about Pisces energy affects the potency of them somehow. And again, I'm still learning, right? I mean, I've only been working with these for 3 years now. And I've always been attracted to them. And, you can learn more about that on that one episode that we did about the Andaras. But I mean, what a blessing to go right to Lady Nellie. I mean, Lady Nellie, another little thing to add you. I'll answer her question about Opal in a minute. Lady Nellie has come through this time around, Alara, so much in spirit. She has really, really shown up. And I feel like the first time we had them, I had an experience with her. We were introduced in spirit. I was kind of like, namaste, hi, a little kind of like, whoa. And then this time she's come around very strongly. And I think this has a lot to do with where we are in the world, where we are personally. So if people want to know more about the ultimate guardian, the woman that brought these through, Choctaw medicine woman, Lady Nellie, watch that episode because I talk a little bit more about that. But she is very much an overseer in spirit of these wonderful tools. And that's been really neat to have her.
Yeah.
And someone asked about Opal. Is Opal safe for all? Well, when you think about safety, the only time I think about something being unsafe is if I'm going to make a tincture from it, because not every crystal can be immersed in water. Sometimes you have to do a barrier method where you put it in a container and sit it in the water. So there's some crystals like selenite and others that will dissolve, like you actually can't put them in water. So, to carry, is it safer to carry? Well, yeah, sure.
I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't either. Real opals are hard to find. They're rare. I mean, there's a lot of lab created. I mean, they're pretty. The lab created are pretty, but I mean, a real opal is a thing. I saw what does this person say about the Moldavite?
Moldavite. It was love at first sight. Yeah, I have a really small one. I wish I had a bigger one. If you ever get one, Irma, let me know.
Let's talk after the broadcast.
Yeah.
Let's what does Jennifer say? Can you read me her question?
Is there a good crystal or Andara that is good for autism?
I will have to look that up. But you know what? I'm thinking, give me a second. Well, crystals for autism, there's a whole that you could find on Google. I don't have that like off the top of my head, but there's several. I'm trying to think. The Andara that I'm getting, the color that I'm getting for that is clear. Because it has to do with crown, it has to do with the brain. So I went right to clear color.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of the Andaras, I think the only one that I wouldn't recommend is probably red. Too rajasic, right? Too much, too fiery. I probably wouldn't recommend a red. I think blue, green, was told only sun sign. What did she say?
Was told only sunshine. Sun sign should wear opal. But we all have a sun sign. I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Sorry. You mean like somebody that their sun their own sign. Yeah, I love opals. I have an opal right now. I'm wearing an opal right now. That's my ring that I wear. My other ring is a amber ring. So I think maybe for everybody. Like I said, I think the only time you think about safety is when you're making tinctures out of them, and that's a whole other conversation. Because that can be actually toxic. But yeah, for the autism question, I would look up that on Google. I know there are some. I think pretty much any Andara, and also you can you can really intend and program any crystal for that purpose, right? I'm really getting clear, like like quartz is great for programming, like a clear quartz. I mean, I have some right now. I was selling them. 2-3 inches. It doesn't have to be like this wonderful big huge thing that I have over here. So I think you really can work with programming it for your purpose, but I really was getting clear or quartz. So that was my answer to that.
And so Jody was asking, how can you tell the difference between an Andara and a piece of glass?
That's a really good question.
It is.
That we talk a lot about that on the other one.
On the other show.
I have a way of testing them. and it's totally psychic, and I can recognize ones that are not real like that. I actually, just really quickly, I purchased some glass on purpose, that I knew was not an Andara. I did this on purpose. Another reason I knew it was not an Andara is it cost $20, because Andaras do not cost $20, y'all.
No.
That's not what they cost.
They're
I mean, we have very good prices. We're below retail, but they're not $20. So it was really interesting I actually compared the two. I have a real authentic Andara, and then I had a piece of slag glass. And the way I describe it is, people have heard me, they laugh when I say it had no anima. It had no, the vibration of it is completely, of course, everything has a vibration, right? And I'm good at psychometry. I'm an energy reader. So I could read a piece of glass. I can. But it read like a piece of glass. That's how it registered. And I think even if I didn't know that, because I will sit with a crystal, any item, right? You're going to sit with it and you're going to tune in with it. Unfortunately, there are people selling inauthentic Andaras as Andaras. And I would say really tune into your intuition and ask. I recommend people purchase them from me or known people that actually know the guardians and act like you actually know the product that you're getting, because unfortunately there are fakes. There are fakes out there. I mean, I'm out there, I'm aware of what's on eBay. I'm aware of what's on Etsy. And again, if it's really inexpensive, there's a very good chance that it's not an Andara. Yeah. Because they, you know, even at wholesale, they're not inexpensive, because they're rare. So I would say, again, it's kind of a deep subject, but, I would say, how do you feel? Like, if you have the opportunity to hold it, that's even better, because then, if you're sensitive to energy, then you can actually know. Yeah. But again, sit with the picture of it, sit with it, ask it to speak to you. A lot of times Andaras are very chatty, like I said, and they will speak to people. A piece of flag glass is most likely you're not going to get a message from that. So again, that's a deep subject, but I hope I covered that. Okay. There's a lot.
And same thing with crystals. There are a lot of things that are not crystals out there as well. I remember...
they're selling, unfortunately, fake malachite is an epidemic. And how you could tell? It's too perfect. Nothing in nature has totally perfect symmetrical. No, it doesn't look like that. Nothing looks like that. You're right. Your right side of your body is different than your left side of your body, right? Yeah. Nothing is perfectly symmetrical. So that's another way you can tell if it looks too perfect. And the colors are just super, and also vibrationally, it doesn't feel the same. Mm-hmm. So again, there's, as far as inauthentic crystals, it's unfortunately not just Andaras, it's out there. But no, there's not a lot. I mean, the fake malachite's pretty easy to spot. I haven't seen a lot of, artificial stuff. And again, there's controversy over lab grown stuff like Gaia stone, like the obsidians. I find green obsidian to be absolutely beautiful stone. I think some of the quote lab grown or man-made crystals, they have a vibration. Mm-hmm. I have you can't see it. I have a really large crystal ball behind me that's called K9 crystal. That's a crystal used in chandeliers. Mm-hmm. And it does have a base. It is considered lab created, but it does have real crystal in it. A real crystal that's as large as this one I have would be, I think, over $1,500, maybe $2,000. So this one was a little bit, and you know what? I love it. I like the vibration of it. It looks pretty. Everybody that comes over loves it. So again, I think it's a personal matter. Yeah. I think that, there are some lab creative items that are attractive to you, then get them. But obviously you don't want to buy a fake Andara, and you don't want to buy fake malachite. You want to avoid that.
Yeah, the best you can. Yeah.
The best you can. Yeah.
The best you can. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think that was it for all the questions for now.
We're getting kind of near the end of our time here.
I know. So it's like we've been just chit-chatting and talking away. It's like, oh my goodness. So the special offers that is available. Hold on 1 second. Special offers from Irma are available at alara.at/show/Irma5. I'm going to share the link in the chat here as well.
Thank you.
All right. So package A basically is an intuitive astrology natal birth chart reading plus if you join the Bright Star Emporium, you get 10% off one item mentioning my name. And then package B is an intuitive reading and energy healing, and of course, again, the Bright Star Emporium. So, Irma, can you talk a little bit about the two readings, the natal chart reading, and the intuitive reading and energy healing?
Sure. Like? So I have my own style of chart reading. I've been reading charts for a while. So I like to sit with the chart for a few days and really let it speak to me. I think eventually I'm going to be adding, it's not on my site yet, but this might be something that people are interested in. I'm going to be doing like a little mini reading too, because a full reading is a lot. It's a lot of information. I'm going to, be adding a more of like a bite-sized reading. That's, maybe sun, moon, and ascendant and a few more things. But basically your natal chart, we're looking at your blueprint. We're looking at the big three, again, sun, moon, and ascendant, but we're also looking at karmic influences. We're looking at the nodes of the moon. We're looking at a lot of, pertinent things there. So if you haven't, and also people say, well, I've had my chart read. I've had my chart read probably by 10 different people. And every time I've had a reading, I got something different from it because we all have our own style. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, you can go to Reiki, get Reiki from 10 different people or whatever, and it's not going to be the same session. So it's really, even if you've had your chart done, I'm schooled in what's called evolutionary astrology. That's where my training is from. Mm-hmm. So I have a certain kind of flavor or way that I approach a chart that may be different than what some other folks have experienced. So it's a thorough reading. There's a lot of information, and it's on a recording, so you can go back and listen to it as many times as you like. People do that. And, maybe again, that's where you can get the bite size little bit of information, because it's, they tend to be probably 20 to 30 minutes, the recording. Mm-hmm. So there's that. As far as the intuitive healing, I also am a medical intuitive. I'm a clairvoyant healer. I've been doing this work for 25 years. Started when I was young. And so that's good for anybody that, whether you're dealing with a physical challenge or an emotional challenge. So what I do is I will do an energy reading, and then we set up a time in real time that I actually do the energy healing, so that, that's a time you're not going to be driving in your car or whatever. You're going to be safely at home resting. So I've dealt with all manner of physical and emotional issues in my career. And I really actually like challenging things. I like things that maybe are considered arcane or hard to figure out. That's a challenge, a good challenge for me. Some of the testimonials that you included, thanks for that. There's a couple of people on there that really went to, like one gentleman went to many doctors and was really perplexed, and again, it's not me, it's just my team. I have a good team that I work with, and we got some answers for him, and it was really rewarding. And that's the kind of work I love to do. That really lights me up. Besides the crystals, my intuitive healing work and the astrology, and all these things really light me up. So I appreciate the opportunity. Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And that's the thing, is like, you can tell, well, I'm sure I could say this about every healer, but, Irma, is very, grounded, down to earth, and, real, right? Real and authentic. So with the readings, you're not going to get fluff. You're going to get,
that's for sure
what you need. And as you can see during today's conversation, Irma talks fast. Right? So she talks fast. So there's a lot of information that's going to come at you. That's why it's so important to have that recording. So because you're going to want to go back and listen to it again and again and again to get all the information. Absolutely.
I don't always talk so fast. I do on Gemini moons, though. Today's a Gemini moon.
There you go. That's why. It's okay. I talk fast all the time. So I don't know. So yeah, again, those two.
Good, though. You're right.
Those two packages are available at alara.at/show/Irma5. I love the layout of your new website. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
So beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. I love the new site too. Thank you so much for that. I'll let Haley Rising, my designer, I'll let her know.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks really good. Really nice. Okay, so was there anything else that we want to talk about today?
The Andara sale was set for July, later in July. It's probably going to be earlier. So y'all have plenty of time to find the group, to get over there. We have live auctions, and then we have wall sales. So if you're not an auction person, I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. So we have, the auctions are really fun though. We have a live auction. I have a person that helps me. So some of the more rare Andaras will be offering at auction. And then after the auction is over, I will post them in group, and it's first come, first serve. So we really try to make it as fair as possible for everybody to be able to get an Andara or whatever item that they like. And we have a great time in the Emporium. We have a lot of wonderful folks over there.
I actually got this from you too. I asked you, I said, oh, I want a Vogel. I've been looking for one. And then you found me one, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I use that.
Yeah, the Vogels. We have Vogels too. We have a lot of different things over there. So, and it really. Oh yeah,
I got this from you too. Yeah.
You got all the high vibe. No wonder you're hot over there.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what, when you want it, it will come to you. You just have to ask the right person. And so whenever I want something, I ask Irma, do you know where I can find this? Irma, do you know where I can find
And a lot of times I go, yes, I have it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's another thing. If I don't have it, that's another service that I provide. If we don't have it and I know someone that does, I'm happy to direct people to where to get these tools. I'm really a firm believer in helping people get the tools that they need to do their healing work and their personal work. Again, that's a huge part of my mission. So yeah, ask away, join the group, and we're happy to have you. If you're not on Facebook, doing Facebook groups, I'm also at Instagram at Bright Star Emporium, all one word. I do sell at Instagram also. I don't sell as many items there yet, just because there's not enough hours in the day. But I will be having more items at Instagram. That's been kind of growing. That's a new page. I'm building that up. So if you're Instagram folks, go over there. But if you're on Facebook, I highly recommend that you join the group. We have a great time. We offer free things there. I've had some people on, like I had a wonderful friend that's a reader go on and did some free readings in there for the new year. I did that as a gift. So yes. Yeah, I mean, we offer fun little things just to, as a thank you over there. So yeah, so come on over.
Please do join and let Irma know that you found out about it from my show. Yes. And then,
and get your discount. Yeah, let me know that you're from the show and to get your discount.
I have another question for you, but it's more personal, so we'll do it offline. But yeah.
Okay.
Woo, I'm like sweating buckets again because I
know it's warm.
Holding the Vogel, and I was like talking about the other thing there, the Moldavite, and it's like.
I need a fabulous fan like you have. That's what I need. I need a multicolored fabulous fan, and I can just do.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So this was so much fun. Like I knew it would be.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Laura.
You all want to definitely go back and watch or listen again, because at the beginning there was a lot of information about the cosmic weather, what's going on next couple of months, right? With the new moons, the full moons, the lunar eclipses, the solar eclipses.
Next four moons are big. Enjoy them, everybody. Take a deep dive, and have me on again. We'll talk about the more fun things. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your questions and your feedback, and for hanging out with us, talking about something so fun. Crystals. I love crystals. I love Andaras. I love talking about all of this stuff. Yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? So enjoy. I'm a rock hound. I have so many crystals. I don't even know where they all are. That's how many I have. They're so everywhere.
Me too, sister.
and I want more. So it's like, yeah, it's all good. All right, everyone. So thank you, Irma.
Thank you.
So much fun. Thank you. All right, everyone. Until next time, I'm like sweating buckets here. I gotta go. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.